Thank you, Pascal. Hi, everyone. Thanks for watching this presentation of my research proposal on understanding and supporting cross-border handover in the Euregion Meuse Rhine. I am Juliette Beuken, and as you can see, I'm not alone in this. I have a wonderful team consisting of Danielle Verstegen, Mara Bouwmans, and Diana Dolmans. And before I would like to talk a bit more about this proposal, I will tell you a bit more about myself. I am from a little town called Horen. It's above Amsterdam, and as you can see in the picture, we all wear traditional costumes and clogs there. So after I finished high school, I quickly ran away to Amsterdam, and there I obtained my bachelor's and master's degree in health sciences. And then I thought, you know, let's move to Maastricht, 200 kilometers down south. So why am I here? Well, besides the beautiful city that I now get to live in and the lovely colleagues I have, Maastricht is situated in a border area called the Euregion Meuse Rhine. And as you can see in the picture, this means that within a 50-kilometer radius, there's 3 countries situated. So that's Germany, Belgium, and the Netherlands. And they also speak 3 different languages. And besides that, there's actually 4 quite large hospitals in this region. And although they are so close together and they all seem to like the color blue, they do not collaborate as much as you would expect them to. Especially considering that we know that over 80,000 Dutch patients cross the border to receive healthcare in another country. And this could be a hip replacement that you go to Belgium for, since the waiting lists are a lot shorter there. And it could also be that you go shopping in Aachen and you're starting to feel unwell and you have to go to the hospital. And a lot of these patients actually have to receive aftercare in their own country, which means that a cross-border handover will take place. And these handovers, they do not always go as planned. And this is risky. We know that incomplete or no handover is associated with medication errors, with an increased hospital stay, increased in-hospital complications, and decreased patient satisfaction. And this is even without the additional challenges that we face in the border region. We know that there's language barriers here, obviously. There's also cultural barriers. There's different healthcare systems in these regions. And last of all, there's unfamiliarity with each other's teams. So we know these risks, but we do not actually know how to deal with them. And that is why SafePAT was initiated. And SafePAT is a European project that is dedicated to developing excellence in patient safety in cross-border regions. And what you need to know about this is that they're focusing on basically 2 research questions, or 2 questions, which is what are requirements to improve cross-border collaboration, and how can we support these requirements. And as Maastricht University, we are mostly involved in 2 work packages, which are the needs analysis and training of patient safety. So for the needs analysis, the question would be, what do stakeholders need for patient care in cross-border handover? And the training of patient safety, we would ask how can these needs be supported by training? And this translates into the research question of my proposal, which is what factors contribute to patient safe cross-border handover, and how do these factors, can these factors be supported by training interventions? And from this main research question, we formulated 4 sub-questions. The first sub-question, we are kind of looking more into the health professionals' perceptions. And this can be doctors, of course, but also nurses, administrative staff that deal with the patient information, but also managing staff. And we want to know what they need for that cross-border handover, and what their perceptions are of how it is right now. And for the second study, we are aiming to know more about the patient experience. So what do they need during cross-border handover, and what did they miss? In the third study, we are looking at how should the stakeholder needs together with expert opinions be translated into a training intervention. And then in the fourth study, we are evaluating that actual training intervention that is aimed at improving healthcare during cross-border handover. And this fits actually very well to the idea of design-based research. As you can see, we will first analyze the problem, looking at professional and patient needs, and then together with expert opinions, we will design these needs into a training intervention and implement that training intervention, obviously. And last of all, we will evaluate the training intervention. And from that evaluation, we want to mature the intervention, so improve it a bit more, and also get a better theoretical understanding of why some of the aspects might work and some aspects might not. And from this approach, we suggest 4 studies. The first study is dedicated to the insights of the healthcare professionals. We are going to use mixed methods for that, do some surveys, and from those surveys do interviews and observations to get a bit of an idea of what's happening right now and what are the gaps, basically. And in the second study, we are looking into the patient perspective, what are their needs. We're using interviews for that. We're still a bit in doubt if these are going to be semi-structured interviews or if we're going to have a more narrative approach. And then in the third study, we have the expert opinions. This could be educational experts, but also experts in other fields that deal with international collaboration. So we might want to look into more commercial fields, actually, and also do a bit of literature research, obviously. And together, these 3 studies will be aimed at designing, implementing and evaluating a training intervention that is dedicated to improving that cross-border handover. For the last study, we're probably going to use validated evaluation surveys and maybe some semi-structured interviews or focus groups. This kind of brings me to the end of this proposal. I'm very excited about the upcoming 4 years and also about the challenges that we will face with the cross-border collaboration, of course. And for me, it's important to keep in mind that the similarities are going to bring us to common ground and the differences are going to allow us to be fascinated by each other. Thank you.